You're welcome to my channel. Today I'll be showing you how to cut and stitch this jacket with an inbuilt collar and a French seam. French seam is a method of sewing where your seam allowances are not visible. You often find this method in suits and blazers. Without wasting much of your time, let's get started. The first thing I will do is to come down by 3 inches and mark. This line becomes my starting point. Can you see? The next thing I will do is to place a shoulder measurement and add half-inch sewing allowance. A shoulder is 15. I'm going to add half inch to it. I will come down at that point by 1 inch. That's for shoulder slope. And then I will mark my preferred neck width. In this case, I will be using 2.5 and a neck depth of 3.5 inches. Mind you, this is the front piece. 3.5. With the aid of my ruler, I will go ahead and connect. I will proceed by marking my client's preferred length for this jacket. Our preferred length is 27. I will add 1 inch to it, that gives me 28. Please note that I am still going to add half inch to the shoulder. I will explain why I'm doing this much later in the video. The next thing I will do is to mark our waist. I'm going to do that on the other side and I'm going to connect. From that waistline, I'm going to come down by 8 inches. Do this on both sides and connect together. This line becomes our hip line. I will go ahead and mark our armhole depth. To get armhole depth, you divide the bust by 6 and add 1.5 inch. The next thing I will do is to divide our bust by 4 and add my preferred seam allowance. I will go over to the waist, divide our waist measurement by 4, add my preferred seam allowance and an extra 1 inch for that. I will proceed to the hip, divide the hip by 4, add my preferred seam allowance. I won't be adding an extra inch because the dart will not extend to the hip line. You are going to extend whatever you mark at the hip line to the hem of the dress. I will go ahead and give the armhole a curve. To do that, locate the midpoint and come in by 0.7. This is not, you use bust sizes to determine this. I will drop a link in the description box so you can have an access to my tutorial where I explain that extensively. The next thing I will do is to come up by 1/4 of an inch. That is my preferred height for the collar. You can use 1.5, you can use two, you can use three, however high you want it to be. But mine, I want it to be 1.1 quarter inch high. I will go in by 1 inch from the neckline and mark, and I will give a very slight curve. I will proceed and give my shoulder allowance. I'll come here and mark half inch upward and mark. We'll come to this side and mark half inch as well. I will come over to this side and mark half inch for seam allowance, and when I get to the lower part I will reduce it to quarter of an inch, and then I'll connect. This is quarter of an inch. Now you can cut. In stitching my darts, I'm going to need a bust point. So before I trim off that place, I'm just going to quickly mark a bust point. Ours is 10. I'll mark it on both sides and connect with my ruler. I'm going to place right there a bust pan, what some people also refer to as nipple to nipple. I'll mark that on a bust point and then I'll mark it on a hip line. With a straight ruler, I will connect. I will, at the waist side, I'm going to mark half inch on both sides of the line, and then I made a mistake here. From the bust point, I'm supposed to come down by 1 inch. Please ignore the first thing I did. I'm supposed to come down by 1 inch here and then go upward by 2 inches from the hip line. Still remains half inch, then connect this way. My dart leg is supposed to start from that 1 inch. Can you see? Yeah, this is how it should be. Now I'm going to proceed cutting, or maybe at this point let me notch, because I'm going to repeat this entire process on the other side of the fabric. So I'm just going to notch for easy identification. Now I can continue cutting. Please watch closely. I already have an opening there because of the side of the fabric that I folded. But if your fabric is folded like this, after cutting out the neckline, you are going to have to split it open. Do you get what I mean? Like this. I'm going to split this place open. The portion of fabric, if your own portion of fabric is folded at the center, this is the other side of the fabric. Remember I notched the other time. I can see it. I don't know how well you can see it, but I can see it. So I'm just going to connect with my ruler. This is the bust point. The next is the waist. The next is the hip line. So I'm going to do everything I did on the other side here. I have gone ahead to cut the lining. I would also like to tell you that my lining is 1 inch shorter than the fabric. I will split the center open as well, and every marking that I did on the fabric I also did on the lining. This is the back piece. The only difference is the neckline and the armhole. You're already conversant with the armhole. I came upward by 1/4 of an inch, came in by 1 inch as well, and then I'm going to give it a slant, like a slight curve, I meant to say. Mark ½ inch seam allowance. The only thing is that the neckline is a bit different from the front. I went upward by 1/4 of an inch at the neckline, this side and the other side, and then I added ½ inch to it. There was an error in this video, so I lost a part of it. That's why you didn't get to see in detail how I marked that area. But essentially I just came upward by 1/4 of an inch at the right side and at the left side of the neckline, and I connected together, as you can see, and then I'm cutting it out. By the time the cutting gets to the neckline, you will understand properly what I'm trying to say. I'm so sorry for that part that I lost. Just going to trim carefully. Can you see now? The back is I. I'm just going to insert the dart. I've marked the bust span, but this time around I'll be coming down from the bust span by ½ inch, and then at the hip line I will still go up by 2 inches, and then I will connect. I'm going to repeat this entire process on the other side of the fabric and on the lining, and of course the lining will also be 1 inch shorter. I have gone ahead to stitch the darts both for the front and the back piece. I'm just going to go ahead and pin the front and the back piece together with the right side facing the right side. At this point, stitch the shoulder. If you are doing this for commercial purpose, I would advise that you iron and interfacing on the entire fabric. If you can, you may also go ahead to iron your interfacing on the lining as well. Please be generous with it. You will notice this part is not smooth. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold it into two and try to trim the excesses off. Don't forget, if you can afford it, it is strongly advisable that you iron and interfacing on the entire fabric. If it is not thick, if you are using brocade material or a thick fabric, you may not need to. Just let the interfacing be on the neckline. But if it is not strong, please use interfacing. I'm just going to take to give shape to the jacket now. I'm marking half of the bust measurement, half of the waist measurement, and half of the hip measurement. I will go ahead to the hem of the jacket and mark half of the hip measurement as well. This is for the sake of beginners that are watching. So from my marking to the end of the fabric, I'm going to measure what I have there and divide it into two. So I'm going to take a portion of it on one side and another. If, for instance, if what I have there is 2 inches, it means I'm going to take 1 inch on one side, 1 inch on the other side as well. I'm going to go ahead and stitch. I've stitched it and I've given it a very good press. And this is what it looks like. Exactly what I did on this fabric, I'm going to repeat the same process on the lining as well. I'm going to hold the dart, I'm going to sew the sides, and I'm going to place the lining on the fabric with right side facing the right side. I will start my sewing from the hem with half an inch. So I have stitched it. Can you see? I opened the seam up. I did the same for the lining as well. Can you see I opened the seam? That's because I want to iron it. I'm going to sew round. But before I do that, I will fold the neckline. I want to locate the midpoint of the neckline. I will fold the neckline and give it a notch. I've notched it, so I will sew to the right side from the notch. I will sew downward this way. By the time I get here, there's going to be excess fabric because the lining is shorter than the main fabric. So just adjust it like this. Don't panic, that's how it is meant to be, and stitch it like this. When you are done stitching both sides, come to one of the armholes and bring it out like this. This is what it looks like, guys, after giving it a very good press. Remember that I gave the hem 1 inch. So when I attached the lining to the fabric, I used 1 inch. Now you can see that the fabric once again dragged half inch upward. So that makes it 1 inch in total. The first half inch, I used it to stitch the lining and the fabric together. It's on the rough side. And you can see that once again, the fabric is still dragging in about half an inch upward again. That makes it 1 inch altogether. If you've ever wondered why you are always short of, why the length of your dress is always short by the time you are done stitching, you probably have not been adding the right sewing allowance to the length in this case. Having given it a very good press, this is what I have, guys. I won't be going through the process of cutting and stitching the sleeve. I have done this a couple of times in my video, so I'm just going to totally ignore that part. I just put a basic long sleeve there, nothing serious. This is what it looks like. Can you see the darts? Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. For further clarification, you can message me on in the comment section and I will be glad to attend to them. Thank you.